we're going to dig into Warwick's chocolate peanut butter swirl. And it is that simple. Chocolate ice cream with a peanut butter swirl. Now, if you remember back, I've mentioned in numerous reviews, actually one recently, the Leopold's review, the Thin Mints and Cream. Warwick has my favorite vanilla. Let's see how the chocolate holds up. And I'm going to be honest here, Warwick, and I appreciate you sending these, but the tubs, these, what are they? I should know this. Is it a half gallon? I think it's just shy of a half gallon, 56 ounces. Anyways, these bigger tubs, they also make pints. Lack of a better words, the base isn't as dense. We're definitely dealing with a lighter ice cream, a lighter base. Sorry, try to make sure I don't get chocolate all over my clothes like last time. Definitely dealing with a lighter, more air pumped into the ice cream. But point being, it's nothing like their pint game. That is some super premium stuff. So we do have a lighter chocolate base here. Get some light action for y'all. You'll never be able to tell just looking at it, but maybe if I scoop it. I mean, it's just not the densest. Anyways, that doesn't mean it can't be flavorful. And it is flavorful. Is it my favorite chocolate of all time, like they hold my favorite vanilla? No. Certainly not. The best way to describe this, I just realized I got the Braves going in the background. I hope y'all can't hear them. Anyways, the best way to describe this is, I call it like a classic mom and pop, classic old school ice cream shop chocolate. Just walk into the shop, and it says chocolate. It's just good old chocolate. Far from being dark and far from being milk chocolate. It's certainly not that sweet. It definitely falls in the middle between a milk and a dark chocolate. Rich? Yes, I'll give it some richness, but it's just more of a, and I've said it before in a previous review, a dry cocoa. Just a natural, true cocoa taste. As for this huge peanut butter swirl, some of y'all are about to say I'm extremely picky, but it's tastes very good. But my biggest issue is it comes in just huge swirl. Like you can see there, it's like one huge swirl. It was like that from the top to the bottom. It's just like one big swirl, like pumped through the whole thing, just all the way down, continuous. So I would like a little, I guess I'm gonna say variation, a little change up, more smaller swirls, chunks of swirls, whatever you want to call them, scattered around instead of one massive swirl. Reason being is, you can see here, the longer you let this baby temper, it does have a smooth, soft consistency. But also, the chunkier parts they're pretty tough. They're pretty hard. So I found when I got to the thinner parts at the top of the quart, half gallon, whatever we're gonna call this thing, it's not even a size, like it doesn't have a name, 56 ounces. Or if I broke them apart into these smaller chunks, they tempered. And when they tempered, it's very soft and chewy. And it melts in your mouth, which is what I prefer. The flavor, on the other hand, couldn't be more perfect. Seriously. It's extremely natural. It tastes just like I'm scooping it from the jar, straight from the jar. And very, very, you guessed it, salty. So salty. And that is so key with a peanut butter swirl. So more isn't always better, these big tubs. My biggest complaints are because it's in a big tub. If we had this in a pint, we'd be dealing with a super premium ice cream. Not so much air, not so much lightness. Although, that's far from a bad base. And the peanut butter swirl would have to be dialed down a little bit. You wouldn't get these massive chunks. Like we said, bigger, more always isn't better. So these massive chunks, they would be smaller. And therefore they temper better, they'd be a little softer. My last minor complaint, even though this is a good scoop, peanut butter and chocolate is an awesome combo. However, since I'm here to critique it and to complain, I would prefer a sweeter chocolate here just because the peanut butter is so salty. So you already have I don't want to call it a bitter chocolate, but a very mild, dry chocolate flavor. And then you got a very salty peanut butter. It's not that sweet of an ice cream. Some of you may like that. I would prefer just a tad more sweetness from the chocolate in order to, give you that whole sweet and salty back and forth contrast of flavors. Nonetheless, good scoop from Warwick. And it gets a 7 out of 10.